Hi, my name is Ray, partner at Credo, and this is the first installment of our Future of Cities series, where we explore the people and organizations that are harnessing the power of innovation to create more sustainable, resilient, and equitable cities in the future. Cities today are facing increasing urbanization at a historically unprecedented rate. In many cities, this growth is adding additional pressure to an already aging infrastructure. Cities are now looking for creative ways to get rid of traffic and promote more sustainable forms of transportation. One area they are looking is perhaps the last place we would think of as a seed for innovation. We start this series at the curb. All right, so we're in Santa Monica. We're going to basically check out the innovation at the curb. Today we'll be speaking with Automotus. They are an LA-based startup that is using technology to bring automation to the curbside.
Well, these problems are boiling up. The growth in commercial activity at the curb is unprecedented. I saw a study recently the World Economic Forum did where by 2030 we're expected to see a 10% drop in passenger vehicle trips while we're going to see a 36% uptick in commercial vehicle trips.
For the past 5 years, on-demand deliveries have increased by over 200%. Just over the past year, on-demand deliveries and orders online have increased by 60%. And so the state of the curb has changed.
As new modes of transportation and micromobility options enter the scene, the way we move people and goods across our cities is changing rapidly. How a city manages its curbs will be one of its most powerful tools to improve mobility, safety, and sustainability. So let's go see how Automotus' curb management technology will change how cities move.
I'm Jordan Justice, co-founder and CEO of Automotus. Yeah, I mean, we're an LA-based company, and living in LA for the past 8 years, you're just exposed to these problems at a scale that you might not be elsewhere. Curb is a pretty stagnant piece of infrastructure right now. It's something that's policies, and a lot of cities haven't changed in 40, 50 years. And it's being used much more dynamically now.
With the explosion of e-commerce and on-demand delivery, cities are seeing unprecedented growth in last-mile transportation. Add into the mix new micromobility modes of transportation, and the battle for space at the curb has never been fiercer. And this is leading to issues like double parking, which has trickle-down effects like congestion and increased emissions.
My name is Arian Devani. I am the head of partnerships and policy at Automotus. I joined the founding team about a year ago. So the problem we're trying to solve at Automotus is we're helping cities monetize and manage commercial activity for the first time using computer vision and video analytics. Cities can no longer use paint and street lights and stop signs to manage the curb. And so there has to be a more dynamic solution.
The solution is installing cameras on streetlights and using computer vision technology to help cities understand how the curb is being used and eventually automate all the operations. Now, whenever we talk about cameras in public spaces, it understandably raises concerns about privacy. It's an important topic, so let's address it.
Yeah, so anytime cameras are being used in the public right of way, there's always a concern of how that data is being stored and used. We use a privacy by design approach, and so we process all information on the ground and we anonymize all that information. We don't share any personal identifiable information with any third parties.
Okay, back to the technology. Automotus is helping cities capture critical data that will help them make more informed decisions on future policy. Now, to understand how we get from data to policy, we should touch on a concept that Automotus uses to explain how cities manage the chaotic 21st century curb. It's something called the curb management journey.
The curb management journey points to the different stages that cities go through when putting together a technology acceptance plan and a curb management roadmap. It starts with data collection. First you have to understand what's going on at the curb. First we assess, the amount of traffic and where it's coming from, the different modes, and where the violations are happening. Really what it's best used for, the data, is driving policy to align with demand and making sure utilization is as high as possible. And so data collection is that first part of the curb management journey. Then they move into reallocation of how the curb is being used. Once they reallocate that space, and we've seen many cities moved into this stage during COVID where they've started assigning additional pickup drop-off zones for on-demand delivery companies for food. Once they reallocate that space, they have to figure out how to price it. we're coming in and helping automate the entire parking and enforcement process using our technology at those loading zones. We're working on something that's going to have an impact that's going to last for the next 100 years in terms of how data is being used to form policy.
Automation at the curb provides benefits to both cities and fleet operators. Cities are looking for creative ways to alleviate congestion and incentivize zero-emissions delivery, while fleet operators, seeing record profits, are looking for ways to increase operational efficiency. Dedicated curb space and automated enforcement could be the secret sauce, paving a way for new sources of revenue for cities, increased operational efficiency for operators, and promotion of zero-emissions delivery for the benefit of all of us.
As I mentioned, different cities are in different stages of the curb management journey. What's exciting is, we have the opportunity right now to work with cities in all different stages.
One such city is Santa Monica, where Automotus is collecting data in the nation's first zero-emissions delivery zone. It's a pilot project spearheaded by Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, and a great example of how innovation happens in modern cities. LA Clean Tech Incubator, or LACI, serves as a bridge between startups and cities, providing the sandbox to quickly pilot new technologies.
Yeah, so LACI was appointed to quarterback and spearhead the ZEDS project. It's a 1.2 square mile radius zone that the city of Santa Monica has dedicated to incentivize the promotion of fleet operators to start testing and using new and existing modes of transportation for delivery of goods and services that are zero emission. And they're showcasing new zero emission delivery vehicles, not just cars, but also sidewalk delivery robots, electric cargo bikes, and we'll be tracking all different modes.
If all goes to plan, the ZEDS project could provide a blueprint for other cities looking to do similar work. In addition to curbing emissions and promoting more sustainable forms of commercial transportation, they also might find new creative ways to generate revenue for the city. Automotus promises to play a critical role in the ZEDS project, but their technology is also playing an important role in other cities across the country. They are helping cities understand how they are being used and transforming the curbside into something more akin to a dynamic mobile terminal, a description that seems more appropriate for its 21st century uses.
Curb management technology is really a substitute for a lot of the solutions that we have at the curb now, like meters and mobile apps that don't align well with the short-term nature of commercial parking. And so you need solutions that are designed for the different ways that people use this public infrastructure. And so the problems are, only increasing, and they need to be addressed for cities to tackle the big issues they're facing, like climate change and environmental injustice.
It's part of a much bigger solution that's needed for cities.
Well, it's the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. And that's kind of why my job is so fun, because I'm putting together the pieces,
Right.
And then as you put together the pieces, it unlocks new possibilities with each piece you put together. And then this vision that we've been talking about for years, all of a sudden, you're like, oh wow, we're like 2 months away from executing on that vision.